Hello everybody and welcome to UCLA Student Radio live from enemy territory here at the Galen Center. My name is David Matamoroz, joined by Justin Attlesey. The Bruins look to take on the Trojans here for the second time this season. UCLA picked up a victory in their first game a couple games ago. That was February 24th. Now doing it live here from downtown LA. Justin, what do you make of this matchup?
Well, it's a tale of teams going in opposite directions. USC, now losers of 6 straight, completely knocked them off the tournament bubble. At this point, they're playing for pride in this storied rivalry. The Bruins have won now 3 of 4 straight, including huge home victories over Illinois and just their last time out, Nebraska. They're going to look to ride the wave of momentum into the Big Ten tournament and into March Madness.
Yeah, and USC looking a little bit different in terms of roster from this game, from the last. Talk to us about the whole situation with Chad Baker-Mazara.
Well, to put it shortly, as we're coming up on tip-off here, he's no longer with the team, dismissed from the squad last Sunday. It's going to be very interesting to see how the Trojans deal without having that alpha scorer.
Baker-Mazara had put up 25, 8, and 2 as the Trojans win the tip-off here to start things off from the Galen Center. Like I was mentioning just a moment ago, Baker-Mazara, the leading scorer for the team in the last game against UCLA. They are without him tonight. Down inside, gonna kick it out. Arenas outside. Woods with the ball now. Gives it up inside to the rim and slams it home. The first points on the board belong to the Trojans. Jacob Kofi didn't have a great game against UCLA. In that last game was 3 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Tonight on the board first for the Trojans. Perry outside on the 3. No. Sky Clark pulls up jumper. Can't get the 2, but recovered by Daly Jr., who gets blocked. Puts it back up. A third attempt, no good. Couple attempts there for Eric Daly Jr., but couldn't come up with the second or even third chance points.
And that's that rim protection being flexed from USC.
Woods on the perimeter. Going to give it up to Kofi. Kofi gives to Arenas, back to Kofi. Inside now. Kofi working against Trent Perry, way across. Woods, pump fake, inside, kicks it out. 3 seconds left on the shot clock, puts up a 3. Able to splash that one home. A nice shot by Elijah Arenas.
And that's the type of thing that just hasn't worked at all for him this season, shooting under 20% from beyond the arc coming into this one.
Dent gives to Sky Clark, now Bilodeau on the top of the key. Returns it to Clark. Bounce pass, now inside to Bilodeau. Pump fake, puts it up. 2 points for Bilodeau. The score 2-5 now. Early in this competition, USC with the lead.
Look for Bilodeau to be very active in this one. His streak of 22 straight in double digits was broken last time out against Nebraska.
Bilodeau only finished with 8 points in that contest. So did Sky Clark. Floats one up, and that's good for the Trojans. Woods on the board for the first time tonight.
Cam Woods just making space for himself inside and getting that floater to go.
Donovan Dent working against Woods. At the top of the key, inside now, down low to Bilodeau. Surrounded by Trojans, has to kick it out to Dent. Dent making his way inside, loses the handle on it. Somehow still in possession of the ball. Back out to the perimeter, moving around. Bounce pass inside, Bilodeau off the glass. No good, rebounded by Kofi.
Just a great setup by Dent. Bilodeau couldn't get the finish.
Cam Woods passes to Kofi, back to Woods, back to Kofi. Kofi, a handoff pass to Arenas, and we're going to get a whistle here.
Yeah, had a foot out of bounds there, and that is the first turnover of the night for the Trojans, who averaged 12.7 in that stat a game. That is worst in the Big Ten.
They do not do a good job of holding on to that ball. Coming the other way now, Trent Perry gives to Dent. Now Dent at the top of the key. Back to Perry, who shoots for 3. Off the rim, rebounded by the Trojans. Ezra Assar nearly fell out of bounds, but was able to get it off over to Woods on the perimeter. Gonna have to bounce pass down low, double team on Kofi. Able to get it back to Woods. To the corner with Williams the second. Kofi at the top. Williams the second now inside to Kofi, trying to get to the rim. Can't find much space. Has to kick it out. Here's a three. Way off the mark. Too much on that one. Into the hands of Sky Clark. Clark coming down the lane. Gets fouled.
Well, there's something the Bruins don't often do. The tenacious D is able to force the long miss on the three-pointer. The Bruins, who are among the bottom teams in the country in terms of pace, push the ball in transition, and Sky Clark is able to draw the foul.
The Bruins, like you said, so slow, very methodical, but very efficient when you look at the numbers. You look at the three-point percentage, it stands out as one of the top in the Big Ten as Clark makes his first of 2 free throws. Sky Clark missed a lot of time with a hamstring injury. At one point was maybe vying for extra years of eligibility, but at this point it looks like he'll probably finish out this year as his last year in college basketball with the senior, as a senior with the Bruins. Second free throw is good. Clark, an excellent shooter both at the line and the three-point line. Coming back down now, Woods in possession, gonna give it up. Arenas onto the wing. Here's a three. Woods can't quite get it to go.
Just a hesitation from him putting up that shot. You never want to see that from a three-point shooter.
The instincts didn't really tell him to shoot it. Like you said, kind of thought about it. Wasn't really that smooth. Bilodeau hits this one from deep.
Talk about a contrast there. Bilodeau letting it fly as soon as he gets the ball there. He has a shooter's mentality, leading the Big Ten in three-point percentage this season, 45.3%.
UCLA back in this one, 7-7. To the rim, Arenas. Tough finish, can't get it. Gets the rebound off the glass, no good again. Loose ball in the hands of Bilodeau. Fast break down the court, Perry. Bilodeau to the rim. Able to push this one off the glass with a little bit of English. 9-7 Bruins. Quickly down to the other side of the court and a foul. Gonna get a stoppage here. Timeout. Bruins originally were down, now up 9-7. Justin, what have you seen in the first about 5 minutes of play?
Well, usually when we see a matchup of teams with differing paces of play, it's the team that has the slower pace that's able to control the tempo and slow the game down. So far, both teams have been running and running in transition. It's led to some very interesting plays at the rim, teams picking up some fouls under the basket early. But the Bruins have been able to stay comfortable. They've taken an early lead and running their offense, unsurprisingly, through Tyler Bilodeau, who's already put up 7 points on 3 of 4 shooting.
Yeah, Tyler Bilodeau looking for a bit of a bounce-back night. Scored 13 against the Trojans a couple games ago. Had 9 rebounds, 2 assists. But then had an 8-point game, only 5 rebounds, only 1 assist in the last game against Nebraska. And with that win against Nebraska, we haven't even covered this, officially in the tournament is UCLA.
Well, we may say so. Obviously, there's a lot of things that can happen
Nothing's
on
official,
Selection Sunday. But yes, the Bruins appear to have solidified a place in March. Their resume at this point looking very strong with 3 wins against teams in the top 12 of the net rankings. They pair that win against Nebraska with victories over Illinois and Purdue. All of those wins coming at home in what has been a very stark contrast, the spread between home and away games for the Bruins. They've racked up the best home record in the Big Ten at 17-1, but it hasn't been the same story away from home.
Yeah, away from home had a couple of games that they dropped against some pretty great opponents, Michigan State back-to-back. That was a tough stretch of games for UCLA. Also lost one earlier in the season to Berkeley, which wasn't a great loss for the Bruins. Nonetheless, have really clawed back this season, kind of switched gears after the start of the new year. Guys like Donovan Dent, Trent Perry really getting into a groove and kind of finding their place in this offense, especially Donovan Dent. Talk to us about how Dent has been playing, especially as of recently.
He has been absolutely incredible. It sounds like a joke, but over his last 4 games, 46 assists to 2 turnovers. Absolutely ridiculous distribution by Donovan Dent. He is a total point guard. He's a point guard's point guard. He may not be the best shooter in the world. He's only averaging 12.8 points per game over that torrid 4-game run. But what he does bring is a sixth sense for where his teammates are on the court. And when you've got teammates like Sky Clark, Tyler Bilodeau, and Trent Perry, who are all shooting over 40% from beyond the arc, it becomes child's play to set them up for open threes. And UCLA as a team, really this season, has excelled from beyond the arc. They rank second in the Big Ten as a team in three-point percentage this season, 37.8%.
Yeah, they don't take a whole lot of shots due to that, methodical, slower approach that they have to offense. But when they do, like you said, they are extremely efficient, and efficiency really just has been the name of the game for the Bruins. Down to the line now, it would be Ezra Asar taking a couple of free throws. Finished against Washington, 17 points, 11 rebounds, a double-double for him against the Huskies as he makes his first free throw. Gonna get some substitutions. Looks like Kofi will come out, and on will come Gabe Dines, the 7'5" junior for the Trojans. Asar, 2 and 2, both good free throws for Asar. The score now tied up at 9. And Dent slowing things down, bringing it up across half court. Perry on the wing, back to Dent. Dent over to Sky Clark. Now way back to Dent. Bilodeau. Clark takes a three. Rattles around, no good. Going the other way now. Ball in the hands of Jordan Marsh. Gonna pass. Now back to Marsh. Now in the corner. Arenas takes a three. Too flat, can't get it into the hands of Bilodeau.
A lot of shots for Arenas since he missed the first 18 games of the season with injury since he's come back, but just not very efficient.
Dent now guarded by Arenas. We get a screen here. Taking it to the left, passes out, top of the key. Three-point is good from Brandon Williams. Seeing his first action of the game.
The Bruins have a lot of great three-point shooters, but Williams isn't really considered one of them, just 21% from beyond the arc so far this season.
A lot of depth in this backcourt for the Trojans. Tend to like to play a smaller form of basketball, throw out a lot of guards. USC on the attack now. They'll pull a three. That one goes down, the three. Jerry Easter, the second.
Trojans really starting to exploit this UCLA perimeter defense, which you don't see very often, although we did see it last week against Minnesota.
An exchange of threes as Bilodeau pulls one, and he's got it. We'll see what USC can respond with. UCLA hit a three, USC replied, and Bilodeau with his own. The score 15-12. Arenas guarded heavily by Sky Clark. Now to Dines, inside. Layup is good, a tough lay. Put down by Ezra Asar.
Asar just a great finisher at the rim. Over 90% of his shots are taken in that area now. He's leading the team with 58.2% from beyond the arc.
Perry on the wing now, has to pass to Bilodeau, takes a mid-range shot. No good, but recovered by Williams, who is gonna get clobbered, and they're gonna take a foul.
Brandon Williams coming off the bench and competing on the boards. UCLA not getting beaten up on the boards as a team so far this game, winning the rebounding battle 7-6 in a pretty stark contrast from the first meeting between these teams. Although the Bruins had a pretty nice run to an 81-62 win, they were out-rebounded 41-31 in that ballgame.
Williams' first shot is good. And we'll get some substitutions here. Booker comes on. So does Jamar Brown. Clark and Bilodeau off the court for the Bruins. Brandon Williams in the last game against USC. 2 points, 2 rebounds, no assists on limited minutes. Misses his second. The score is 16-14, UCLA out ahead by 2. 12 minutes, 30 seconds left until halftime. Woods now back to the top with Kofi. Kofi now to Easter the second. Kofi defended by Perry, gonna pass inside. Now gonna have to kick it back outside. Driving in is Easter the second off the glass. And a difficult layup made easy by Easter the second.
Once again, perimeter defense mistake by UCLA, and that time Jamar Brown overcommitting on the closeout. Don't often see him making mistakes on that end of the ball.
Jamar Brown, a great defensive player for this team. Again, part of that depth that they have at guard. 3-point, he tries one. He's got it. Jamar Brown must have heard us talking about him, decided to pull a three.
Well, that's one way to make up for a miscue on the defensive end.
19-16 now, Woods. Gives to Marsh, now back to Woods, trying to get inside. Finding space, no travel. Out to Kofi, who pulls up, and no good, but rebounded by Dines, who's gonna kick it out. Kofi now trying to get inside to the corner for three. And that's good.
And Gabe Dines creating that second chance for the Trojans. Really going to be a matchup to watch with Booker in the game. Can he match up with a really tall center on the other end?
The three made by Jordan Marsh, who is now the team's leading three-point shooter after the exit of Baker Mazzara. 19-19, Dent with the ball. That's gonna head out of bounds. And we're gonna get a timeout. (19-19), timeout just over halfway through the first half of play. Justin, what have you been seeing so far from both of these teams?
Well, it's been a pretty even matchup so far, and it's been a high-scoring game, which is not necessarily what you've come to expect from watching the Bruins this season. They like to slow the game down. They like taking these long possessions. Well, they've taken a couple of them in the last couple minutes. There's been a lot of getting sped up by USC's tempo. In Ken Palm's adjusted tempo metric, they rank 26th in the country, the Trojans do. And we've seen them be able to really exploit the Bruins' perimeter defense in ways we certainly did not see in their game against Nebraska, in which they were able to hold the Huskers to a pretty dreadful three-point shooting night, just 5 of 24 from beyond the arc in that game. So what the Trojans are going to need to continue to do is keep playing with pace and keep trying to capitalize on any let-up in the pressure from UCLA on the perimeter.
UCLA shooting 46% from the field. USC just a bit better, 50%. Taken one more shot, 7 for 14 to UCLA's 6 for 13. And we'll take a quick little look ahead at the schedule. This is the last regular season game for both of these teams, but still the Big Ten tournament coming up in Chicago starts on the 11th. What do you think about the Big Ten tournament? Could that have any implications for seeding for any of these teams in the Big Ten?
Well, the Trojans' seeding isn't really the question. It's more just a fight for survival. Their at-large chances all but extinguished at this point, ranking now 68th in the net with just one quad one victory over Wisconsin this season to speak of. UCLA, meanwhile, they could certainly benefit from, after their double bye coming into this tournament, which they've already clinched, they could certainly benefit from some tough matchups in this tournament because they've taken some real beatings on the road this season against some of the Big Ten's top teams. Just look to right before that Illinois game. Back-to-back lopsided losses against Michigan and Michigan State. To get some revenge against those teams or any of the other of these great Big Ten opponents that they might play would be fantastic for the Bruins seeding. The Big Ten as a whole just been so tough this year. Projected to have around 10 teams in the Big Dance, and they've regularly had over half a dozen teams in the top 25 this season. You go not just with the teams that the Bruins have beaten with Purdue and Nebraska and Illinois, but also Michigan and Michigan State, Wisconsin, who beat Michigan. There are so many just very, very solid teams. It's such a deep conference, but it's also got those top opponents that you can really boost your resume with wins against.
And you got to think for USC, you know, this just really wasn't the season they wanted to have. You look at all of the injuries. You know, this is a team that could have definitely been a lot better, could have been more of a threat, but due to those injuries, due to the on-the-court things that have happened to them, kind of just having a disappointing season. Currently, don't have a terrible record, 18-9, 7-9 in Big Ten play. Not too much worse than UCLA's 20-10. We're gonna get a throw in here from Sky Clark, back to the action, passes it in to Trent Perry. 2 seconds left on the shot clock, floats one up, Perry gets it down. Quickly down the other way, it's Kofi. At the top, Marsh. Now in the corner with Easter the second, back to Marsh. Trying to direct traffic. Sky Clark, such a great defender working against him. Cam Woods on the perimeter trying to find some room. Now back to Marsh, who pulls up for three. No good, rebounded by Trent Perry. Trent Perry, an underrated rebounder. He picks up his first of the night, but for a guard, pretty solid at getting the boards. Sky Clark moving around, no Donovan Dent on the floor. Jamar Brown over to Perry in the corner. In front of that USC bench, decides to pass out to Booker. Perry trying to get inside, baseline, under the rim, gonna pass out. Now back to him, he takes a three. Way short, but recovered by Booker. Clark, deep three. He hits it. Gonna get some whistles here, but for now, a beautiful deep three with the shot clock running out by Sky Clark.
Well, they're gonna review to see if he got this one off in time, but I know Sky Clark, he's a fantastic shooter. You know, he may not qualify for that Big Ten shooting title like from beyond the arc like Bilodeau does, but still 46.5 from beyond the arc on the season. Coming into tonight, that was a prayer from the logo. Booker didn't seem to realize that the shot clock didn't reset off of that airball three from Perry, and so he just chucks it out to Clark, but that is just ice in your veins, you know, and that is what I was talking about with Bilodeau earlier. You gotta have that mentality of when I touch the ball, what am I going to do? You always have to have that idea of I can pop a three from anywhere on the court when you're a shooter as skilled as Clark.
Yeah, Clark, Bilodeau already has a three in this game, a couple points for him already tonight, and it's good to see him getting and going early. I feel like typically in these UCLA games, Bilodeau really doesn't start going until the second half, at least recently, or at least this year. So it's great to see Bilodeau kind of getting into a groove of things early.
He's been capable of some cold spells this season, but that's really the case for any top scorer on a team. You know, it's all about him getting comfortable, and once he does settle in, he's really hard to stop. Bilodeau, he's been so consistent as a whole this season. We talked about that 22-game streak of 10 or more points in a game just coming to an end in their last matchup against Nebraska, but he's also had 9 games with 20 or more points this season and 3 of 30 plus. So just a fantastic, consistent scorer has been Bilodeau for this Bruins team.
Another great shooter as of recent, Trent Perry, has been playing phenomenally tonight. Only 2 points so far. He's 1 for 3, 0 for 2 on his three-point shots. He has a rebound and 2 assists. Talk to me about Trent Perry and what he's been able to provide for this team still, just in his sophomore campaign.
It's just all been about maturing after the freshman year. Perry averages 3.7 points last year. Now in his last 15 games, 15 points per game, up to 3.7 rebounds per game as well, and he's become a fantastic three-point shooter, 45% from beyond the arc in that span. And we've seen him in these last couple possessions, him almost playing the Dent role of being a true point guard, distributing the ball, but also bringing that three-point shot, which Dent doesn't.
So it looks like the call not going to be in favor of UCLA. I believe they're going to say did not get the shot off in time. That'll bring things down from 24-19 back to 21-19. And the ball now in the hands of the Trojans. It's Marsh to bring the ball up the court. Now in the hands of Woods, over to the corner. Easter the second gonna pass. A lot of passing going on the perimeter, to the corner now. Driving inside, opposite corner, no shot. Pass was a bit off the mark. Kofi trying to find room, gives it to Woods. Pulls up, mid-range shot, able to get the jumper. That'll even things up at 21 apiece here. Just 9 minutes left to go until halftime. Perry guarded closely by Woods, who gets screened hard by Bilodeau. Gonna pass to Jamar Brown. Brown inside to Bilodeau. Right there, that mid-range shot he loves so much. Couldn't quite take it though, ball out of bounds.
And that was a nasty screen by Tyler Bilodeau. Surprised he didn't get called for an offensive foul there. It looked like he might have thrown out his arms a bit.
Tyler Bilodeau, 6'9", put the screen onto Cam Woods, only 6'4". Perry on the baseline, nearly pushed out of bounds, gonna give it inside, and there's a foul. I believe Sky Clark was fouled by one of the Trojans. Looks like it was Cam Woods committing the personal foul, and USC, the most personal fouls in the Big Ten.
Yeah, and Woods already up to 2 on the game. He's got 4 points and 2 assists for the Trojans so far. Wouldn't want to lose him off the court because he's been one of their top scorers in the absence of Chad Baker-Mazara.
Clark finds Perry open right in front of the USC bench in the corner. Going to give to Bilodeau. Perry, now Bilodeau. Bilodeau working against Asar. Puts up a fadeaway shot. Beautiful shot at the top of the free throw line by Bilodeau. Puts it down 23-21.
Bilodeau just using that frame to get it over the 6'9" Asar.
Marsh inside, Asar. Gonna get a whistle here.
And that is an offensive foul. Jamar Brown just getting in the driving lane and picking up that charge. That's what he does defensively. He makes the hustle plays, he makes the high IQ plays for these Bruins. That's why he gets minutes despite him not being a super prolific scorer. Exactly the type of guy Mick Cronin wants to see on the floor.
I'm not quite sure. I don't have the stats pulled up in terms of charges and what team leads in charges, but from what I've seen this season out of UCLA, they're extremely good at drawing these charges. Trent Perry does a great job. Sky Clark does a pretty great job of making those heads-up plays and getting those foul calls in their favor.
I could interest you in a deflections board that Mick Cronin keeps on the sideline.
Oh. I have to take you up on that. Perry inside, puts it off the glass. Beautiful finish. Nice soft touch. Able to drop that one in the bucket. 25-21 with 8 minutes remaining here until half. To the corner, foul as Kofi tries to get inside. Sorry, not Kofi. Looked like it was Easter the second trying to work his way inside. It'll be the Trojans to inbound now.
And Brown leaving the court after picking up that foul.
Brown comes off, and it looks like Eric Freeney getting his first minutes of the game, working against the 7'5" center, as there's going to be another whistle. And it looks like we'll get a timeout, but the score 25-21. UCLA out ahead by 4. 7 minutes, 56 seconds remain. And Eric Freeney getting his first minutes of the game. Talk to me a little bit about Eric Freeney and what he's been doing for this team.
Yeah, I love to talk about Eric Freeney because he has been fantastic down the stretch this season in exactly that same type of role we were talking about for Jamar Brown. He is the hustle and the perimeter defense off the bench. Last game against Nebraska, 5 rebounds, including 4 on the offensive end, plus 3 steals. Those were both season highs for him. He's just gotten consistently better and consistently more minutes throughout this season.
Scored 7 points in the last game against USC. Also picked up 3 boards and 1 assist. And like you mentioned, you look at his stats on paper, only a couple points averaging per game, only 1.6 points per game. He averages 1.2 rebounds per game, averaging just under 10 minutes. And it's not too impressive when you just look at the numbers alone. But you watch him, you watch his hustle on the court, you watch him go for those loose balls, heads-up plays in the passing lane. He just plays with so much heart, so much passion, so much aggression. You can't help but want him on the court if you're Mick Cronin.
Yeah, and Cronin was effusive in his praise of Freeney after the last game. He said that the reason he originally signed Freeney was because of the toughness. What he shows on the court that goes beyond the stat sheet is the draw for Eric Freeney. He is just a massive boost for this team, not only acknowledged by Cronin, but also by his teammates. Trent Perry gave him a shout out for his 4 offensive rebounds in the last game as well. It's just a culture of respect that you are able to build up when you have guys like that on the team who put their bodies on the line and go beyond the stat sheet to make an impact defensively.
Yeah, I believe the quote, it's not a direct quote, something along the lines that Mick Cronin said after that game against Nebraska. He remembered a line that head coach Matt Painter of Purdue told him. I'm not too sure how long ago he told him it, but he asked him, if you were to line up all the players on both teams on opposite baselines and drop a ball from the roof onto center court, who's coming out with that ball? Mick Cronin said, for us, it's Eric Freeney.
And it's just telling, because this is the guy who keeps that board telling you how many deflections each player has and mentions it at every press conference. He cares about the things that no one else keeps track of. Mick Cronin sees the effort, and he not quite quantifies it, but he gets as close as he can. He is all about making sure guys who put their heart and souls out on the court get rewarded.
We await this timeout to be over. The score 25-21. And so far, how do you think USC's been faring without their former top player, one of their former top players, Chad Baker-Mazara?
Well, the Trojans have had a different top scorer in 4 out of their last 5 games. And tonight, it's been a smattering of guys putting up points. No one has more than 5 for the Trojans. Jerry Easter pacing the team with 5. But a bunch of guys have 2 or 3 or 4. This widely distributed scoring is probably what they're going to have to rely on in the absence of a guy who can really lead the team possession to possession.
Back to the action here. The toss in from the Trojans over to Kofi, trying to make his way into the paint. Gonna have to kick it out to Marsh. Marsh working against Bilodeau. Now gonna pass down low. Ball in the hands of Arenas on the perimeter. Gives inside. Kofi to the rim. Gonna get a whistle.
Well, toughness gets you a long way, but when you're working in a size mismatch with a guy who's just as physical as Jacob Kofi, it's really hard to get in front of him and not end up fouling like Eric Freeney just did there. He's already picked up 2. Actually, they're going to call that one on Daly. It looked like I thought Freeney got his hand in there, but it'll be number 1 on Eric Daly.
Jacob Kofi at the line now, shooting 60.3% on the season. First one is good. Excuse me, it was bad. I thought it was good. Second shot is good. The score 25-22. Thought it went in. My fault.
We're working with a new line of sight here at Galen Center. We'll get used to it in time.
Trent Perry now guarded by Marsh. Passes down low to Eric Daly Jr., who's been somewhat quiet tonight. Now back to Perry, makes a man jump on the baseline under the glass, passes to Bilodeau, reaches up, puts that one in the basket easily.
And there's that Dent energy. Dribble penetration, finding the dump to Bilodeau in the paint. Nice little push shot, 10-footer.
Arenas trying to put the moves on Freeney. Moving around, a lot of movement. Can't quite get the jump shot into the hands of Eric Daly Jr. Pushing it down the court. Perry playing pretty fast, gets to the rim. Can't get it off the backboard.
Well, unfortunately, that's another area that mirrors Donovan Dent there, the missed layups in transition.
Both these teams playing pretty fast now. Kofi tries for 3. Off the front of the rim. And now pushing it down is Clark. Going to get a call here by the officials. Both of these teams really sort of picking up the pace since that last time out. 6 minutes, 36 left to go.
Yeah, this game's sort of pacing-wise looking like a runaway freight train. Once one team pushes the pace, the other team just seems to respond in kind every single time. We needed that foul to get any sort of restoration of slowness to this game.
Donovan Dent back in the game for the Bruins. Under the rim, gonna pass out to Bilodeau. Bilodeau gets a nice little 2-point jumper.
Yeah, who says mid-range shots are dead? Bilodeau loves that elbow jumper or from the short corner, and he scores a ton from there.
Bilodeau now up to 16 points, has 3 rebounds and an assist, having a pretty great first half so far. Trojans on the offensive now. Ball is loose. Eric Freeney taking it down the other way to the rim. Able to lay it off the glass. Gonna get a timeout here. 29-22 the score. 31 now after the Trojans push ahead off of the loose ball score by Eric Freeney. 6 minutes left to go, 31-22.
Yeah, the Trojans that's only their 3rd turnover of the night. That's good. That's not a terrible pace against the Bruins, especially considering that they got crushed in the turnover battle last time these two teams played. UCLA turned it over 5 times compared to USC's 14. However, when you're turning the ball over on a live ball like that, it is so easy for the Bruins, who have been so willing to work in transition in this game, to get a quick layup. And that's exactly what Eric Freeney was able to do.
Forces the Trojans to take a timeout, and like we were talking about, Eric Freeney, he really is a game changer. In games where Eric Freeney scores at least 4 points, the Bruins are undefeated.
Well, that may be more of a function of him just playing more. Freeney is not about the scoring. He only had 4 points in that last game. He had more rebounds than he had points in the game against Nebraska. That is not his game, quite simply, scoring, at least at this point. Obviously, he's got some room to grow. Just a redshirt freshman. But as of now, plays like that are usually when you'll see him scoring, turning defense into offense.
Here on senior night at the Galen Center for USC, UCLA has some seniors. They'll probably be leaving the team after this conclusion of the season. Donovan Dent, a senior. Also Tyler Bilodeau, Sky Clark. Just a couple of the guys that will no longer be with the team come next year. And what do you make of this squad going forward with the youth that they have, and who are you looking forward to most?
Well, I'm going to love to see Trent Perry mature into a top guard. But outside of that, and Freeney obviously providing some valuable minutes off the bench, UCLA is going to have to hit the portal hard yet again.
Brownell seeing his first minutes of the game, pulls a 3. Can't quite get it as he checks in. Donovan Dent pushing things down quickly to Freeney. Body at the rim is good. A tough layup.
Physical finish.
As you were saying.
Mind meld, that's what we call that.
Other side of the court now, Marsh on the perimeter, decides to pull. Rebound, UCLA initially, but now into the hands of the Trojans. Gonna get a whistle here. Not quite sure what this is all about. 33-22 the score, UCLA out ahead by 11. Coaches, looks like Mick Cronin talking to a couple of officials.
You could just say Mick Cronin is standing there. That would have about the same effect.
Mick Cronin, coaches with a lot of passion, we'll say.
Nevertheless, a bunch of new guys on the court for the Trojans. And Cam Woods on as well, looking to add to that 4-point, 2-assist total. We're playing with 2 fouls.
Marsh running things here for the Trojans, passes to Brownell. Now it's Woods in the corner. Asar passes over top. Kofi backing up, now trying to get to the rim, spinning. And it looks like that's gonna get snatched away. I think it was Eric Daly Jr. able to come out with that. Daly Jr. trying to get to the rim, gets a foul, can't quite drop it in.
Eric Daly playing aggressive is how you want to see him playing. He's now 5 points shy of 1,000 for his career, looking to hit that mark tonight. And while it has not been the most efficient season for him scoring, especially compared to last year, his first with the Bruins. He can score from any level, really.
Eric Daly Jr., another one of those kind of like a stretch 4, 6'8", just a 1 inch shorter than Tyler Bilodeau. First free throw, able to knock it down. Like you said, now in his second season with the Bruins, just a junior, still the potential to return next year. Spent 1 season at Oklahoma State University. He misses his second free throw. 34-22. The other way now, to the rim, way off the mark, is Asar. I believe he might have been looking for a foul on the layup. Nonetheless, the ball in the hands of the Bruins. There was no call.
Asar usually,
Gonna get a whistle here on Marsh. I believe the foul was against Donovan Dent. Looks like it was. It'll put him at the line.
Yeah, 1-1 already. The Bruins into the bonus here, forcing 17 fouls against USC.
Still 4:42 left to go until the end of the first. First one is off the mark for Donovan Dent. They'll get nothing from the 1-1. Trojans coming the other way now. Cam Woods at the top, passes to an open man in the corner, decides to drive. Again, another foul. It looks like it was Eric Daly Jr. against the ball handler Terrence Williams II.
Well, some may see it as a quick whistle here, but I'd imagine a lot of guys on the court already pretty exhausted after the relentless pace of this first half. So many transition looks for both teams, so much running up and down the court, and it's leading to a lot of consecutive fouls here.
5th foul against UCLA. USC has 7 themselves. We get a little substitution here. Eric Daly Jr. off the court. On comes Brandon Williams.
Daly already with 2 fouls. We're going to have to wait a bit to see him hit that 1,000-point mark.
The toss in is good to Asar, guarded by Clark, and a pass to Elijah Arenas. A switch now guarded by Sky Clark. Clark sticking pretty close, puts up a shot. Able to drop that one in after he got Sky Clark to jump.
And that is Arenas' biggest strength on offense. He can float in the paint, finish with those floaters, finish really anywhere near the basket by just hanging up in the air.
Dent trying to get to the rim. Easy layup, lot of space for the guard.
He's just so quick. When he puts his head down and drives, it's so hard to stop him once he's gotten that first step.
36-34, Donovan Dent with his first points of the night. Three-pointer is no good from the Trojans. Eric Freeney gonna give it up to Donovan Dent. Dent standing on the SC logo, attacking, passes it out to the corner. Eric Freeney knocks down the 3. Past that 4-point threshold. He now has 7 on the night. The odds would say that UCLA would win this game, according to previous results. A nice shot, step back there by Arenas. Brings this one 39-26, 3 minutes left to go.
Well, Arenas fancying himself the leading scorer for USC tonight, already taken 8 field goals, now made 3 of them.
Arenas with 7 points. Sky Clark lets it fly, no good. Into the hands of Dent is the rebound. Has a lot of room. Nobody home at the paint. And he was able to get into the rim.
That defensive possession made me cringe a little bit. Just the Trojans failing to rotate to Sky Clark, setting him up for an open 3, and then no one picks up the ball after the offensive rebound, allowing an easy 2 points for Donovan Dent.
Deep 3, heat check, no good for Arenas. A little confident after the shot before. 26-41.
Yeah, this game already starting to get out of hand. And when the Bruins open up a big lead like this, they let Donovan Dent dribble around and burn some shot clock.
Bilodeau puts it up, but just came out of his hands, no good. Coming the other way. Asar off the glass and in.
And there is the body control on the finish that we did not see earlier from Asar. Very composed finisher in the paint.
Dent just holding that ball, dribbling at the logo, gets a screen from Bilodeau. Inside, Euro, off the glass, a beautiful, beautiful drive by Donovan Dent.
Just fancy footwork and moving guys with his head, with his eyes to create some space.
Arenas passes to the top. Kofi now Woods. Woods picks up his dribble, gonna have to give it up. Kofi at the top. Decides to pull up a two off the front of the iron. Bilodeau able to finally corral it in. It looks like Woods is on the floor. We're gonna get an official stoppage here. Woods is back up, was on the floor for a little bit of a limp there now for Cam.
Yeah, we'll see if he can walk it off, but Woods on senior night, don't want to lose him. The Trojans just been so scarred by injuries this season. Rodney Rice, who was on shooting guard of the year preseason top 20 watch list, out almost immediately after 6 games. And then Amarian Dickerson, out 3 to 4 months now with a hip injury. He was a key contributor. Arenas missed the first 18 games of the season. And, of course, Chad Baker-Mazara, though, he's not injured. Just another huge loss for the Trojans.
Yeah, Rodney Rice in those 6 games averaged 20.3 points per game, 34 minutes, 3.3 rebounds, had 36 assists over those 6 games, and was shooting 41%, 39% from the three-point line. And that was just a huge loss. The 6'5" junior was such an important part of the offense. Transfer from Maryland, also spent a season at Virginia Tech. Just a huge loss for them, like you said.
Rice is just such a gifted distributor. 6 assists per game in those 6 games. No one else on the team averaging 4 this season. Cam Woods has been the closest, has really filled the shoes of that point guard role for the Trojans at 3.6 assists per game. But he's made contributions really on both ends of the ball too. He's got 1.8 assists per game. That leads the team, is among the leaders in the Big Ten as well. So just so many contributors seem to rise for USC and then end up getting hurt. It's just been that type of year.
1 minute, 9 seconds remain until halftime. UCLA out with the lead, 43-28. What do you expect to see in this last minute? Probably more Donovan Dent kind of just dribbling the ball, taking really what they give him. If he can have the chance to pass it, he'll pass it. If he has another open lane, definitely expect to see him take it.
Yeah, well, what we should expect to see from this point on in this game is the Bruins controlling the pace, which it was pretty shocking that they didn't do that in the first 10 minutes, and that was really when USC was able to play level with UCLA, but now they've found their rhythm offensively and been able to take the air out of the ball, maximize their possessions with the distribution skills of Donovan Dent, who's already racked up 6 assists with no turnovers, because he just always seems to do that, doesn't he?
Donovan Dent, so good at playmaking, like you said. And I really think Trent Perry's going to have a great year next year, sort of replicating kind of what Donovan Dent has been in this system, you know, going into next year.
Yeah, we'll certainly see how he develops. Right now, the hope with Perry is that he's able to blend that ability to set up your teammates with a great shot from beyond the arc especially. Perry this season is one of the best three-point shooters on the Bruins. 42.6% coming into tonight from beyond the arc. Donovan Dent, it's been no secret, he's struggled. 22.4% for him this season at a very low volume as well.
Yeah, Donovan Dent, a great player, but the shot just not quite there, although it was against USC when he hit 5 of 6 three-point shots. I personally just could not believe the way his shots were landing.
Yeah, how could we forget that game? Really the X factor for the Bruins in their first win over USC at home this season was Dent putting up 30 points just kind of totally out of nowhere. I mentioned that 12.8 points per game average over the last 4 games. That includes the 30 points against USC. Dent has not been scoring very much. That's just a fact. But for that one night, he seemed to have a little bit of magic in his hands.
Back down to the court here at Galen Center, 43-28, a minute and 9 seconds remain on the clock. Sky Clark to throw things in, gonna pass it to Dent. Dent now guarded by Ryan Cornish, getting his first couple of minutes of the game. 1 minute remaining. Donovan Dent has a lane, takes it off the glass, can't quite get it to drop in. Bilodeau recovers it, puts it up, no foul, but the rebound taken out of bounds by Asar. He was able to grab it, but he just happened to land out of bounds before he can pass it back off.
Yeah, a couple things on that possession. I thought Asar touched that ball when it was in the cylinder. That may be what the referees are talking about right now. Second of all, Bilodeau took a hard hit on that layup. I'm very surprised they didn't call a foul there.
No foul. Bilodeau appears to be all right, though. Still in the game, not too shooken up. UCLA wearing their away blue jerseys. USC in their red. Clark working on the wing. Gives it to Perry at the top. Gets a screen from Bilodeau. Can't quite take it very far. Now trying to get inside. Swarm going to get a whistle there. Looked like a foul. Not quite sure who on.
Yeah, it's going to be on Williams, and he really just kind of reached forward and down with his hands. A pretty textbook shooting foul call there. Really just hacking Perry. Probably not the guy you want to hack on this Bruins team.
Trent Perry at the line now. Comes into tonight 85.8% from the charity stripe as he puts the first one down. Out of Harvard Westlake High School in his sophomore season. Put up 13, 3, and 4 against USC. And then put up 27 and 4 in the last game against Nebraska. With the team's leading scorer against the Cornhuskers as he makes his second. And this game moves 45-28. Just a tick under 40 seconds left.
USC's just got to get something to go down. Boost their morale a bit going into halftime.
Marsh passes it to Cornish on the wing, guarded against Sky Clark. Cornish dribbling, trying to use those moves to get some space, gonna have to pass. Kofi at the top now, Marsh switching places. Gives it back to Kofi. Kofi spinning inside in the paint, has to kick it out. Marsh, 5 seconds left on the clock, rushes the rim and puts in an impressive layup. Was on the way to the ground, kind of just threw it up, had a very low, weird, awkward sort of angle, but hit that back part of the rim and in.
It was just some beautiful spin on that layup, and sometimes it's really hard to control, especially when you're just on the run, sort of flailing like that. But yeah, fantastic body control from Marsh, who's now up to 5 points on the night.
That'll put USC past the 30 mark, 45-30. Their leading scorer is still Arenas with only 7 points. UCLA led by Tyler Bilodeau, having himself a pretty great night. He has 16 points.
Well, it's not necessarily surprising to see him leading the Bruins in scoring. 7 of 10 shooting and 7 rebounds for Bilodeau. He's really been filling up the box score, doing it all, and maybe not unlike what we saw Hannes Steinbach do just earlier this week against the Trojans. He was able to put up just a massive game in every respect. 22 points in 24 rebounds. Pretty unbelievable that a team that has the inside sway the Trojans do with one of the tallest average lineups in college basketball would allow a guy to have that type of performance.
Yeah, back to play here. Now it's Sky Clark. Coming down the lane is Donovan Dent. 4 seconds on the clock. Freeney has to put up a shot. No good, can't beat the buzzer. Nonetheless, UCLA out ahead here, 45-30, a 15-point lead for the Bruins going into the locker room. What are some of your key takeaways and maybe things that USC should look to address when they come back?
Well, I'm not really sure what USC can address. They're just being outplayed in pretty much every aspect of the game right now. UCLA isn't turning the ball over. They're slowing the possessions down so they can wear down this USC defense with off-ball movement, and they're playing stifling perimeter defense that's limited what USC can do without Chad Baker-Mazara and any of their other top scorers who have gotten hurt this season. So it's just going to be a fight to survive and try not to make this one a laugher in the second half.
All right, you heard it here first, 45-30. We'll be right back with the second half in about 15 minutes. Thank you for joining us. Stay tuned. Second half coming up soon. Welcome back to the Galen Center here. My name is David Matamoroz, joined by Justin Attlesey, getting ready for the second half of this crosstown rivalry between the UCLA Bruins and the USC Trojans. The score, 45-30 after one half of play. Justin, how do you expect UCLA to maybe try and maintain this lead, and do you think that they'll hold on to it?
Well, the Bruins are fantastic playing with a lead like this. Leading at halftime, the Bruins are 16-3 this season, and when they, at any point in the game, build up a lead of 10 points or more, they're 17-1. UCLA loves having the opportunity to slow the game down, play at their own pace. That Ken Palm rating in adjusted tempo, 325th in the nation, very telling, because you can see the Bruins dribbling the ball out with Donovan Dent at basically every turn in these lopsided games, and it really makes it difficult for an opponent to come back. So it's going to be a Herculean effort is what USC is going to need to come back into this game.
Yeah, UCLA, when they get into those late games, you can expect the possessions to be at minimum 20 seconds long. Just Donovan Dent holding onto the ball, dribbling, and usually he's able to find something, find a lane, find an open man, and it's just so hard to play catch up with these Bruins. Second half is underway now. Ball passed in to Donovan Dent from the hands of Tyler Bilodeau. Dent crosses half court, playing a little bit slow. Like we mentioned, we thought they might play methodical. 18 seconds on the shot clock. Clark pulls a two. No good from the corner of the free throw line. Coming back the other way now. Trojans in possession in the corner now. Is Arenas gonna have to pass it back. Kofi for three. Can't quite get it on his first shot. And the first shot by the Trojans of the half. Eric Daly Jr. coming down now. Dribbles, has the ISO to the rim, off the glass. A nice shot for Eric Daly Jr. He's now up to 3 points on the night, just 2 away from that career 1,000. Trojans on the offensive now, under the rim, gonna pass it out. Three-pointer is good for Elijah Arenas. He's now up to 10 points on the night, the leading scorer for the Trojans.
Well, he's the one guy who's really been in his element offensively all night for USC.
Donovan Dent passes to the corner, Sky Clark. Now Bilodeau, the leading scorer for UCLA, had a great first half. Now inside, fadeaway shot, and there's 1,000. Eric Daly Jr., career 1,000 points for the junior. Inside now, a beautiful dunk and a nice pass. The play was set up by Arenas, and Asar was able to throw it down to score 49-35.
Talk about this team needing a point guard, Arenas. How about that? Beautiful bounce pass into the paint.
Gonna get a whistle here, looks to be on USC. But 1,000 career points for Eric Daly Jr. Not too much commotion going on, not too much recognition, I suppose. I guess we're in the Galen Center. We're not at home at UCLA, so a little bit of a nonchalant.
We got a decent crowd that went to their feet behind the Bruins bench.
Off the glass and in for Donovan Dent, finishing with the right hand on the left side of the basket. 51-35 now.
So adept is Dent at finishing with that offhand.
Cam Woods on the perimeter. Now up top, back to Woods in the corner. Elijah Arenas hits a three in front of his bench. Arenas starting to heat up a bit now in this second half. Finished with 7 points in the first. He is now up to 13. Clark on that three-point line, a great three-point shooter, gonna pass inside to Bilodeau. Bilodeau working that mid-range. He loves that mid-range area. Dent at the top, fadeaway two. He got it.
Just a great fadeaway by Dent. Hard to get that type of height to get it over the block there.
Ball poked free and out of bounds. Ball will stay with the Trojans. And so far out of the gate, Elijah Arenas hitting a couple shots.
Yeah, and really getting that confidence going. He has not been a very efficient shooter at all this season. 33.8% from the field, 19.6% from beyond the arc. But tonight, he's really gotten it going.
And there's going to be a foul there.
Well, Sky Clark was able to get a deflection to get the ball out of bounds just before that, and this time a bit overzealous with the pressure, picking up the foul.
Foul was against Arenas, son of Gilbert Arenas, NBA legend. Second son of an NBA legend to play at USC in the couple of recent years. Inside now, no good. Asar gets his rebound though. Kicks it out to Woods, gonna reset here. Marsh thought about a three, drives, floats one, and drops it in from way high.
Marsh just, that ball seemed like it could have hit the video board up top. Hung in the air forever, a beautiful teardrop floater.
A nice finish by the junior, who didn't have a single point against UCLA in the last game. Eric Daly Jr. for three, just a bit short. Bilodeau got the rebound, feeds Eric Daly Jr. once more to the rim. No good. Now Trojans coming the other way now, no foul. Trent Perry ended up getting shouldered into the ground, but he's back on defense after not hearing a whistle. Woods on the wing, passes inside to Asar, double team now by Clark and Dent, but Dent backs off to the rim, and it's gonna go out of bounds. Ended up rattling around behind the backboard. Gonna get a timeout here, 53-40, nearly a quarter of the way done with the second half, 15:42 left to go. Justin, anything you're noticing so far right out of the gates?
Well, USC has really run the offense through Arenas so far in the second half, whereas Woods was sort of taking charge early on in this contest. Arenas really showing a growing confidence in this game, although he hasn't really been lacking in that regard this season. Been just taking a ton of shots for USC and also getting fouled a ton. In the last game against Washington, he took 16 field goals, only made 5 of them, but 9 of 9 from the free throw line to finish pacing the team with 19 points. So Arenas now looking to get a more efficient scoring night in. 5 of 11 from the field, 3 of 5 from beyond the arc, and 0 trips to the charity stripe.
And this is a USC team that is typically very good at getting to the line, are top, around the top in the Big Ten in free throw attempts and free throws made. But you look at the percentage, 72.6% free throw percentage, actually the third worst in the Big Ten. So they get to the line a lot, and they're not the most efficient in terms of actually making the shots.
Yeah, well, a lot of the time, it's about just getting there with free throws. And obviously, it would be nice to make a higher percentage, but just the fact that USC is able to get to the line so often is really a boon to their scoring, which has suffered without the type of playmaker that Rice was at the start of this season. Ezra Asar is really the poster child for USC's free throw dominance. 227 free throw attempts coming into tonight, which ranked 15th in the country, draws 7.1 fouls per 40 minutes. That's 14th in the nation. But once again, not the best in terms of efficiency at the free throw line, shooting just 67.4%.
Still in timeout mode here. Taking a look at UCLA's stats in this game and comparing them to USC, anything that jumps out to you, anything that you really want to talk about?
There's a lot. UCLA, 57% from the field compared to USC's 47. And they made 5 of 10 of their three-pointers compared to 5 of 15 for USC. UCLA, after losing the rebounding battle in the first matchup between these two teams in a lopsided affair in that part of the game, tonight, 22-14, the Bruins are winning the rebounding battle. And as you may expect, Bruins not turning the ball over very much, just 3 in this game. They're among the best in Big Ten at just not turning the ball over. 9.1 turnovers per game. That's tied for third best in the conference and tied for 10th in the country. USC, though, has been pretty secure with the ball, to their credit tonight. Just 4 turnovers compared to their 12.7 per game at the bottom of the conference.
Doing pretty good by team standards, as we're going to get a throw in here, and it'll be Arenas to throw in the ball. Bilodeau in his face, gets a hand on it, but recovered by the Trojans. Now Bilodeau playing tight defense, double team with Eric Daly Jr. against Asar. It looks like we're going to get a whistle here.
Man, just forcing another timeout for USC. So right out of the media timeout, USC forced to burn. Now they're second to last time out of the game. They'll have one for the last 15 and a half minutes of this one. So just great pressure off the inbound from UCLA. It'll
be Trojan ball when they break out of their huddles. 3.7 seconds left on the clock. And talk to me about this UCLA defense. How has it been this season, and what really has been their main MO?
The calling card is their ability to stop opponents on the perimeter. Though they allowed a ton of threes, 12 in fact, to Minnesota in that game last week on Saturday, they consistently have been among the better teams in three-point percentage defense in the country. 31.3% teams are shooting against the Bruins this season. That ranks 4th in the Big Ten. And what UCLA is all about is that pressure, the deflections of the ball, trying to get some steals as well. And that's what you see, especially from the guys coming off the bench for UCLA, whether it's Jamar Brown or Eric Freeney or Brandon Williams. Guys are hustling to get blocks and steals. And that's really what it's all about with this Mick Cronin team. I don't have a total deflections number for you, but I can tell you that if it were an official stat, the Bruins would be among the tops in the nation.
So good at playing those passing lanes. Eric Freeney, 7 points so far tonight coming off the bench. Brandon Williams has 4, and Jamar Brown knocked down a 3. Like you said, those guys aren't usually the highest in scoring, but doing pretty all right tonight in that department. Mostly those guys come in when they need big defense in certain spots, or they need to get some boards, or just hold the lead. That's typically when you see those guys come out. So far we've seen those 3. Haven't seen much of really anybody else. I think Jamerson checked in for a bit, but not much. Xavier Booker, 0 points in that first half, has not played a whole ton, but that's sort of typical of this UCLA late season sort of system.
Yeah, a lot of people thought that, once Sky Clark gets back, what's the role for Trent Perry going to be? What's the role for Sky Clark going to be? Is it Booker going to have to get his minutes still? Well, UCLA has responded by saying, we can play small ball all game. And that's what they've been going with. It's been the 2 stretch 4s, Daly and Bilodeau, and then the 3 guards, Dent, Perry, and Clark. And none of those guards, particularly imposing physically. Dent standing just 6'2", Perry 6'4", and Clark 6'3". So you don't have a bunch of big bodies on the court for UCLA really at any time, aside from sometimes Booker, and even he, standing 6'11" and quite skinny for a center. There's just not much that you would expect the Bruins to be doing on the glass. But yet, 22-14 remains the rebounding margin tonight.
And a lot of that is thanks to Tyler Bilodeau. I mean, he's only 6'9", only 1 inch shorter than Steven Jamerson, which I think a lot of people, based off of appearances, wouldn't have guessed that he's just an inch shorter. 2 inches shorter than Xavier Booker, but Tyler Bilodeau so strong, able to play so versatile. I mean, he really has been a great player for the Bruins. Going to be sad to see him go. Throw in now, Cam Woods. Bilodeau in his face, gets this one off. Arenas, hits a nice pull-up jumper for 2. The score 53-42. Arenas now with 16, 2 and 2. Dent just holding that ball on the SC logo, heels on that half-court line. Dent inside, puts this one up and in. Made it look easy, had a body on him, just able to drop it in.
Yeah, just a tough finish from Dent. Normally more of a finesse guy, but that time able to fight through the contact and put it in off the glass.
Whistle. Looked like it might have been on Perry against Asar. Yeah, the foul can be called against Perry. Second team foul of the half for the Bruins. About 15 minutes remain. To the corner now, Marsh tried to drive in, had to kick it back out. Cam Woods thought about a three. Tipped ball in the hands of Eric Daly Jr. He's going down. Has to pump on the brakes a little bit, passes it out to Donovan Dent. The fast break disrupted by the Trojans. Now resetting at the top is Dent. Dent gets a screen from Bilodeau, doesn't take it. Bilodeau backing down Kofi. Jab step, stepping back, Eric Daly Jr. tries a shot. He's got it, a fadeaway mid-range shot from the free throw line. Goes down for Eric Daly Jr. He's now up to 7 points on the night.
He's so confident in that mid-range jumper. That's what makes him such an effective scorer, but he can also muscle around in the paint.
Very similar to Tyler Bilodeau, great at shooting those mid-range shots. Out on the perimeter now, Arenas takes a shot, deep three, no good. Bilodeau gets the rebound, passes it before he steps out of bounds. Donovan Dent coming the other way now. Daly Jr. back out to Donovan Dent, and Dent gonna do what he does, back standing on that SC logo, taking his time.
Arenas tried that heat check. It's just so tough to do that with the Bruins taking all the time out of the shot clock.
As Dent gets the contact, gets the foul, and one. He's gonna take a trip to the line. The score as it stands now, 59-42, with a chance to make it 60 for the Bruins.
We'll talk about another contact layup for Donovan Dent, this time getting the and one. I mean, just so confident getting to the rim right now and using the backboard at some difficult angles and also fighting through contact to do so.
Dent finished the first half with 6 points, 6 assists. He's not tacked on an assist so far in the second, but has made his way up to 14 as he gets set for some free throws. Dent, not the greatest shooter, shooting 63.9% at the line this season. Gets his one free throw, and that'll push the Bruins up to 60.
And he's also been super efficient from the field. Dent has 7 of 8 now for this game. That's also uncharacteristic.
Trojans attacking now. Marsh gonna get a whistle here. Was trying to make his way inside. We'll see what the call is. Looks like it was a foul on Eric Farini. It'll be a toss in for the Bruins, sorry, for the Trojans. And it looks like Xavier Booker is back out onto the wood for UCLA. "13 minutes, 23 seconds left in the last regular season game for both of these teams. Cornish pump fakes and finally tosses in over the head of Booker. Gets it to Asar, who's gonna pass out. Now Cornish, Kofi, mid-range shot. Easy money for number 6, Jacob Kofi, the sophomore. And now Dent, guarded full court by Cornish, finally crosses. Official is gonna stop it here. Looks like an off-ball foul on Arenas. Third foul for USC on the half. Both these teams up to 3 now. USC doing a pretty good job of limiting the fouls. Here's a three-point shot, and that's good. Eric Farini having himself quite the night. He's up to double digits, 10 points.
Yeah, the Trojans just forgot about him on the inbound there.
A beautiful move by Arenas, puts up a floater, can't quite finish it. Had a nice cross to get a man to jump. And now headed the other way. 63-44, the score here. Bruins trying to push out into double digits. Sorry, already in double digits, trying to push out to 20, and they do with the Donovan Dent layup, 65-44, out ahead by 21. Cornish trying to get to the rim, gets stripped, but out of bounds. It looks like we're going to get a whistle here.
Yeah, it looked like Dent was able to get it off of Cornish's leg there. It's going to go to the Bruins, and
wow.
Dent, oh my goodness, he's just taken over this game. I mean, so many consecutive drives to the rack, and USC just has absolutely no answer. Now 8 of 9 from the field is Dent for 17 points.
Dent also with 2 rebounds, 17 points. It feels like he's just making it look easy, totally in control of this game. To the rim, a nice dish there by Booker to Williams, finishing at the rim. Bruins up 67-44. Marsh inside, gonna get fouled.
Oh man, the Bruins did not have to foul there. Marsh was primed for a trap there under the basket. They do bail him out a little bit, but nonetheless, a 23-point lead now for UCLA.
And now a timeout, 67-44, just under 12 minutes remaining in this game. Talk to me about what's going on since the last timeout. What have the Bruins been doing, and how have they been able to coast so far to a pretty big lead?
Well, offensively, you already know what I'm going to say there. It's the Donovan Dent show. He has still not collected an assist in this half, yet USC has absolutely no answer for when he just puts his head down and goes to the rim. And meanwhile, on the defensive end, I mean, Elijah Arena is still putting up a ton of shots for the Trojans, but though he's been able to get open for a couple more, they haven't fallen the last couple times, and every miss is deadly against this UCLA team. Not because of what they're going to do in transition, but because of how much time they're going to take off the clock and make it so difficult to come back.
Donovan Dent with 17 points. He is now the team leader in points. Bilodeau just trailing behind him, who's also had an impressive game. And the Trojans gonna have a lot to make up for here if they want to even scratch the surface, come close to winning this game. And it feels like the way that UCLA has been playing with that slow, methodical offense, letting Donovan Dent sort of just hold on to the ball, let the clock run down. It feels like USC's not even gonna have the possessions to try to come back.
Yeah, a win in this 267th edition of the Battle of LA is probably not in the cards for USC. And if the Bruins do hold on to this now extremely large lead, that'll be win number 4 in a row in this series for UCLA. So at this point, you know, they've established likely 2 season sweeps in a row against the Trojans, really getting that superiority in this rivalry. And now I'm not going to say that it's for sure going to continue in future years, because the Bruins so reliant on the transfer portal. I mean, you've got Booker and Dent coming in this year, along with Jamar Brown, along with a couple years ago you have Tyler Bilodeau and Eric Daly as well. Just so many of these guys who are now starting to age out, coming in from other schools. And so it'll be a question as to whether UCLA can continue this dominance with that reliance. But to this point, been a very nice last couple years in this crosstown showdown for the Bruins.
And on the other side of things, USC also very reliant on the transfer portal. Rodney Rice, a transfer. Ezra Asar, a transfer from Utah. Jacob Kofi came from Virginia. A lot of the players on this team at some point played at another school. Cam Woods, the mid-season transfer, came over in December. First free throw is good for Marsh, but the Trojans also no stranger to the portal. First free throw is good for Marsh. Marsh himself also a transfer, was at UNC Asheville last season. As he makes his second shot, was the Big South newcomer of the year, now playing in his first season with USC. Dent doing what Dent does, holding onto that ball, decides to pull a three, and of course he's got it. Donovan Dent, known three-point shooter.
Yep, he's up to 20 on the night, and when he's doing that, that's how you know he's in the zone.
Donovan Dent came into the game shooting 22% from 3. To the basket and a block by Xavier Booker. The shot put up by Jaden Brownell and rejected out of bounds.
And UCLA not a huge shot blocking team, just averaging 3 per game, but Xavier Booker leading the team by far with 1.2, and that was really showcasing his length on that one.
Yeah, Booker 11th in the Big Ten in blocks. Getting to the rim is Arenas, gonna get a whistle. Looks like that'll be a foul, and looks like Brandon Williams is gonna check out. But 11th in the Big Ten in blocks is Xavier Booker, who was the transfer brought in from Michigan State. Came in to sort of fill that hole that Ade Mara left as he transferred to Michigan. And Ade Mara, actually the leader in blocks in the Big Ten.
Yeah, many a Bruin fan will sour at the mention of that name, Ade Mara.
Shots for Arenas now. First one, able to knock it down. Arenas, we know about his dad. Gilbert Arenas played in the NBA, but also the nephew of Matt Barnes and Derek Fisher. 2 more NBA greats. Arenas' second shot rattles out, but recovered by the Trojans for a second before falling out of bounds is Asar. So it'll be UCLA ball. Looked like Brandon Williams had checked out for a second, but he's back in the game. Going the other way, Dent. Curls back around to that SC logo, just dribbling out some clock. 17 seconds on the clock. Dent putting the moves. Oh, puts it up. No good. Rejected on the second chance by Xavier Booker. Coming down is Marsh to the rim. Reverse is no good. Gonna get a foul here. The rebound by Booker on the other end. And a pretty quick couple of sequences there. What did you see, Justin?
Well, that's USC's ability to block shots on full display. They're second in the Big Ten in block shots per game as a team. But then just going the other way, not able to get the finisher in transition. And it's tough, just tough. When you get a defensive play like that, you're not able to capitalize.
So we're back to where we were just a couple of seconds ago now. Williams tosses it in. Now Dent bringing it up across half court. Just gonna stand on that logo as he's done in the past handful of possessions. Guarded closely by Arenas, trying to get to the rim. Puts it off the glass, gets the foul, and gets the bucket. That's gonna put him at the line for the and one chance, his second of the night.
Yeah, it's just at this point you throw your hands up and say, what can you do? Elijah Arenas just a lot longer than Dent, standing 6'6", compared to the much shorter 6'2" Dent. He's not able to get his hands up far enough to block that layup and picks up the foul along the way.
Donovan Dent 1 for 2 at the line tonight. Stands in for his third shot. Bounces around a couple times but can't get it to go down. 72-47 the score. In the corner, Brownell finds a 3.
Scored 3 points on the night for Brownell on his senior night. So good for him that he doesn't at least put up a 0.
50-72 as the clock hits 10 minutes, 4 seconds. Sky Clark in control here. Shot clock at 10. Farini trying to find some room, but can't quite get in on Marsh. Gonna get some stoppage here. Looks like a foul on Marsh.
Yeah, and he's just throwing his hands up in exasperation. I mean, even when Dent doesn't have the ball, it seems like UCLA offense has just been unstoppable tonight.
It'll be Sky Clark, tosses it in to Booker, who still looking for his first points of the night. Clark gives to Freeney. Freeney pulls a 3. No good. Bounces way high. Rebounded by the Trojans. Woods, now Marsh. Marsh, step back, has a lot of room. Tried to get a foul on the three, put it up. No whistle. Had a lot of room to shoot the three, but kind of waited for the defender, Freeney, to kind of fall back to him and try and get the foul shot.
It's a good idea. He just waited a bit too long to jump into him. Wait until he already hit the ground.
Ended up not getting the foul and no points at all. UCLA on the offensive now. Fadeaway shot. Daly Jr. makes it look easy. The mid-range two-point shot goes down for the junior.
Using his size to be able to hoist that one up over the block.
Woods circling around. Gonna give it up to Kofi. Kofi at the top of the key, guarded by the big man Booker. Puts up a two. Easy money for Kofi. Kofi averaging 9.8 points per game and 6.8 rebounds. He is the leading rebounder on the team. Makes this game 52-74 in favor of UCLA. Now Clark working on the perimeter. Takes a two. No good, but rebounded by UCLA. Whistles, and it looks like a travel.
Yeah, Dent hustling under the basket for that rebound. Couldn't set his feet to avoid the travel.
Looks like Freeney's gonna come off the court. And on comes Tyler Bilodeau. It's been a minute since Tyler Bilodeau checked into this game. But now back out onto the court in place of Eric Freeney, who leaves with 10 points, 4 rebounds so far in tonight's contest. A pretty good night for Freeney, who has just been elevating his game every single night. Floater for Woods. Finally drops down after bouncing across the rim a couple times. The score, 74-54. Bruins maintaining this 20-point lead. Dent trying to find some wiggle room here. Spinning, puts up a nice little short jumper. And Donovan Dent is just unstoppable.
Yeah, he puts that pivot down and twirls around every which way until he finds enough space to put that shot up.
Cam Woods on the three-point line. Tosses it over to the corner, Brownell. Now back to Woods. Kofi hesitating, thought about shooting. Now Asar with the ball. Getting inside, gets a foul. Looks like might have been Donovan Dent with the foul. And we're gonna get a timeout here. 76-54, 7 minutes left to go in this crosstown rivalry, the second matchup between these two teams this season. And what have you noticed that's a bit different from this game to the last?
Well, the most obvious one is UCLA's competitiveness on the boards. And I've echoed this a couple times throughout tonight. UCLA has a negative rebounding margin on the season, -0.5, whereas USC is just around 2.5. But after winning the Battle of the Boards handily in the last matchup between these two teams, USC took it 41-31 then. Tonight, UCLA up 28-17. And the lower number of rebounds relative to that game is another story, because UCLA is shooting 31 of 50 from the field. There aren't even chances for USC to pull down rebounds most of the time. It's been incredibly efficient scoring. That's also been accompanied by the low volume but efficient three-point shooting that we've seen from the Bruins all season. 7 of 13 from beyond the arc. Just really a masterclass at every level from UCLA, who have even gone 7 of 11 from the free throw line. More free throws made and attempted than USC, who are among the tops in the country in both of those numbers.
Very interesting to note, as you said. And yeah, I mean, USC, a great rebounding team, 5th in the Big Ten in terms of rebounds per game. And like you said, UCLA just hasn't been giving them opportunities to get rebounds. UCLA has just been putting the ball in the bucket. They're shooting their field goal percentage 62% for UCLA, and that's an impressive number.
Yeah, and UCLA just seems to bring it when they play this team over the last couple seasons, and in particular, Eric Freeney seems to bring it this season. He set his previous season high in points last time out against USC with 7. Tonight, for the first time in his career, into double digits. Just a fantastic display from the hustle man off the bench, turning into more than that tonight. 4 of 6 from the field, 2 of 3 from beyond the arc for 10 points.
Eric Freeney still just in his freshman season. Played high school ball at Centennial High School, had a bit of overlap with Donovan Dent. Freeney spent a redshirt season last year, so in his second year of college, where Donovan Dent is a senior. A little bit of overlap there, both from Corona. Well, actually, Donovan Dent from Riverside. Eric Freeney from Corona, but same high school they played at, Centennial. So we get set for these teams to get out of their timeouts.
Well, I can already see a distinct lack of fans in the first few rows. People have already started filing out of this one here at Galen Center. And it's just sort of an acknowledgement of how this season has ended for the Trojans. Just really unfortunate, to say the least, after it looked so promising for them to not just make the tournament, but get a pretty decent seed in it too. Tonight, it's going to be their 7th loss in a row.
On that 6-game losing streak, we'll take a look at their past couple of games. Took an L against Washington on the 4th, 72-91. Then on the 28th, lost to Nebraska, who had dropped down to number 12, 67-82. And then the game before that, February 24th, the loss at UCLA, 62-81. Back on down to the hardwood. We'll get free throws from Asar. The score currently 76-54, 7:17 left in this game. Asar hits the first one. The transfer from Utah spent 1 year there, also spent 2 years at East Carolina. Hits his second free throw. Came into tonight 4th in the Big Ten in free throws made. He's added a couple so far tonight. Dent brings up the ball. 20-point difference between these two teams. 15 seconds on the shot clock, 7 on the game clock. Gonna get a whistle here as Donovan Dent took it up on the left side with the right hand. Looks like this is gonna go against the Trojans.
Well, the bad news for USC is that it didn't seem like it should have been called a foul, at least from this angle. Dent seemed to go in relatively untouched from Kofi there. The good news is that Dent is 1 for 3 at the free throw line tonight, and really overall this season has just struggled a lot.
Yeah, Dent, not a prolific shooter, has a 3-point made in tonight's game. Maybe just something about him playing SC just brings out the shooter in him. I'm just, not too sure, but now taking his second free throw. And it bounces away, so 1 good and 1 missed for Donovan Dent.
Well, shooting well everywhere except the free throw line is still going to get you pretty far.
That one just rolls out of bounds. Might have been a kick ball.
And Bill just stuck his foot out there to prevent the pass into the paint from Cam Woods.
It'll be Woods to throw it in on the baseline there, standing in front of his bench. Tosses it to the corner. Brownell can't quite get the 3. And it looks like a double travel by Eric Daly Jr. He got the ball, was kind of in the air, didn't really know where to go with it. Had to take it down and then pick it back up. Just a bit of an awkward play there from Eric Daly Jr.
He was excited to go in transition there, but only the Bruins' second turnover of the half. As per usual, playing very disciplined basketball.
Brownell tosses it in to Woods. Woods trying to find some room. Tried to make a pass over to the corner, blocked, but back into the hands of the Trojans. Dent jumps. Marsh. 3 is no good from the corner. Eric Daly Jr. with the rebound now. Marsh had plenty of time. Was open in the corner. Donovan Dent came soaring in, jumping past him. And Marsh just couldn't knock down the 3. Dent trying to direct things, gives it to Perry. Now Eric Daly Jr. got the ISO on Kofi, takes a shot in the face of Kofi and knocks it down. Eric Daly Jr. having himself a pretty solid night tonight. He's now into double digits.
Just in his element as per usual in the mid-range.
11 points for Daly Jr. so far. Marsh guarded by Clark, gets a little bit of room, not enough to shoot. Brownell at the top, guarded by Dent. Inside Asar, now Kofi. 3-point, rattles around and down. 79-59 the score here, 5.5 minutes left to go. And UCLA has just been maintaining this 20-point lead, hovering around 20 points for the greater half of this second half. 5 seconds on the clock now to the corner. Eric Daly Jr. gonna drive in. Can't float this one, but recovered for a second by UCLA and a whistle.
Yeah, well, a beautiful pass to set that up from Donovan Dent. Just flick of the wrist across the court to Daly. And once again, competing on the boards are the Bruins to draw that foul.
Foul here going to be Trent Perry to take the shots. Donovan Dent up to 25 points, 11 for 13. Extremely efficient on his field goals. Also has himself 2 rebounds and 7 assists. Perry's shot, first one is good. Trent Perry, perfect so far on his free throws tonight. He is 3 for 3 at the line, 7 points, trying to make it 8. And his second is good. 4 for 4 at the line for Perry. He's got himself 8 points, along with 3 rebounds and 4 assists. Perry was the team's leading scorer against Nebraska, had 27 and 4. But tonight it's been all Donovan Dent. 3-point off the mark for Arenas. Now going the other way. Clark circling around, slowing things down now, standing just by the logo. Clark moving to his right on the perimeter, gonna give it up. Daly Jr. pulls a 3 from the middle, and he splashes it. Nothing but net for Eric Daly Jr., who has really come alive in this second half.
Yep, feeling it, as seemed to be most of the Bruins.
Inside, down low, but a whistle. Arenas was holding on to that ball, and Arenas has 16 points. Started putting up some points at the beginning of the second half, but has sort of simmered down. He's 6 for 15, 3 for 7 from the 3-point line, 2 rebounds, 2 assists for the freshman.
Something you got to highlight. This is only his second trip to the free throw line tonight. After he attempted 9 free throws in the last game, USC as a whole averaging 26.6 free throw attempts per game. This is going to bring them up to just 12 on the night.
Both of his trips to the free throw line have been in the second half. Arenas' first shot is good. Came into the game shooting 79.5% from the line. Averages 14.3 points per game. But you look at the efficiency, 34% shooting and 20 from the 3-point line. That one is good, the second shot. And when you look at the numbers, Elijah Arenas shooting 20% from 3. Donovan Dent shooting 22%. And if you would have told me that, I really wouldn't have believed you. When you think of Elijah Arenas, you think more of a shooter than Donovan Dent, but somehow more efficient is Dent.
Well, certainly a limited sample size having something to do with it. Arenas got a very late start to the season after missing the first 18 games.
Dent trying to work his way inside, puts up a mid-range shot. Can't get it to fall. Trojans coming the other way now and coming quick. To the rim, slams it down, Asar.
And that is the money play for USC. Get out in transition on the long rebound and find Asar down low where he almost always is able to finish.
3.5 minutes left to go in this contest. Eric Daly Jr. now gets bodied, loses the ball, but a whistle. It looks like we're going to get another timeout here, 84-63. And Justin, it feels like your prediction going into the second half was, pretty correct. UCLA slowing things down. Donovan Dent really in control of this game, extremely efficient, able to dish out the ball, has himself 7 assists. What else have you been noticing that you didn't quite think about or you didn't expect to see in the second half?
Well, actually, Donovan Dent is something I didn't quite expect because he's only gotten 1 assist in this whole half. I thought he would play more of a point guard type role, trying to find his teammates, set him up, more than just get to the basket himself. But instead, Dent has just taken over this game as a scorer. In the first half, he was just 3 for 4 from the field, efficient, but only 6 points. Now in the second half, he's added 19 to that total. And for the game, 11 of 14. This is just a monumental improvement in terms of efficiency from where he's been for a lot of this season. Dent shooting just 40.7% from the field coming into this game. His struggles haven't just been as a three-point shooter. They've been really converting on these tough layups that he was able to hit so often when he was in New Mexico last season. Tonight, and in a lot of recent games, especially ones against USC, that has turned around.
Donovan Dent, like you said, comes in from New Mexico, spent 3 seasons there, was actually the Mountain West Conference Player of the Year last season, the big acquisition in the offseason for the Bruins. And like you said, going to be interesting to see how the Bruins play with the portal going into next season. Do you expect them to really rely on that portal to find a star guy maybe, or do you expect them maybe to keep Trent Perry as the star guy and kind of get him some support?
Well, the Bruins aren't really about getting the biggest ticket guys a lot of the time. Tyler Bilodeau, look at him. I mean, he's the team's leading scorer now, and, not really thought of as too much of a prospect coming out of Oregon State. Nick Cronin makes frequent mention of how no one seemed to want him coming out of high school. But now, likely headed to the NBA, probably going to be a second-round draft pick this year. So the Bruins are, it's weird to say, but sort of a transfer and develop type of team, as true as this can be in this sort of NIL era. But the Bruins are going to look to build a cohesive unit above all. And Trent Perry is certain to be a major part of that. If Eric Daly sticks around, he'll likely play a major role as well. But a lot of other guys will have to fill those empty spaces that guys like Sky Clark and Donovan Dent are going to leave in this lineup.
Eric Freeney has showed some promise tonight. New career high in points, 10 points on the night for Freeney. He already has the intangibles, the hustle, the tough mentality. Going to be interesting to see how he can level up his game next season. For now, it'll be Eric Daly Jr. at the line. Score 84-63. Daly Jr. trying to tack on a couple more. First one misses. Rebound by the Trojans. Cam Woods coming the other way now, gives it to Brownell. Pump fake from 3, now down to the baseline. Gonna get fouled on the shot attempt. Looked like Donovan Dent catching a piece of his hand.
Well, Brownell hasn't been the most efficient three-point shooter this season, just 29.6%. But that's really his job on this team, to be able to get that catch and shoot up. And when he's able to create some dribble penetration off of a pump fake like that, that's when he can be really effective.
First shot is no good for Brownell. Pretty good free throw shooter, 86.4% coming into tonight. Averages 5.3 points per game, 2 rebounds per game on average. So he's able to knock down the second. Out of Sandy, Utah, played at Alta High School, averaging 11.9 minutes per game. So he gets some time, but not much of a starter for the Trojans. Back on the other side of the court now, Donovan Dent, covered closely by Woods. Dent gets to the backboard, throws it up, but not quite hitting the mark. Other way now, fast break and an alley-oop to Elijah Arenas, thrown from the hands of Cam Woods. A explosive play here late in this game.
I talked a little bit in the first half about how arenas can fly, and we haven't seen it end up in a dunk until that.
Trent Perry now running things instead of Donovan Dent. Takes a three but blocked. And now in the hands of USC. Fast break now in transition. Arenas thought about a three, pump fakes twice, down to Cam Woods. Runs along the baseline but decides not to put anything up, and we're gonna reset at the top now. Woods, aggression inside, no good, bounces around, recovered by Eric Freeney, tosses it down. Coming fast is Daly Jr., whistle, no points.
Well, what we've seen these last couple possessions is exactly the type of game USC wanted to play. Able to get a tough layup missed by Dent, the ball out in transition, and a dunk for Arenas there on the lob. But seems like just too little too late.
At the line now is Eric Daly Jr. once again. First shot able to knock it down. Gonna get some guys coming off the bench now. Out comes Dent as well as Bilodeau. Steven Jamerson checks into the game, and Sky Clark in their place. Second shot is good for Eric Daly Jr., a pair of good free throws. Gonna send him to 16 points on the night. He also has 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals. Pretty solid night for the junior. Arenas step back 3 over Jamerson. Bounces around, no good. Woods on the rebound, Brownell for 3 now. He can't make it either, but recovered and blocked by Jamerson. The attempt by Asar was no good on the third chance.
And I think Asar just in a bit of disbelief at how he wasn't able to convert under the basket there, bullying the Bruins under the basket, but just not able to get the finish.
Trent Perry holding onto the ball now, going to give to Sky Clark. Now a 3, Daly Jr., of course. He has been on fire in this second half. 89-66, UCLA running away with this game as we're almost at a minute to go. Woods for 3. Not quite going to come down with it. Now it's Eric Daly Jr. bringing the ball the other way. 55 seconds on the clock here, 20 on the shot clock. And again, another 3 in front of his bench, no good. To the rim now, Terrence Williams II gonna get the foul, no points. He'll take a trip to the line. (89-66) the score here. 53 seconds in this game now. Free throws for number 5, Terrence Williams II. Grad student, spent 4 years with Michigan. Last year only played in 7 games. Was on the team with USC. He makes his first free throw, but due to injury could only play in those 7 games. Awarded an extra year of eligibility, stands at 6'10". And it looks like Jack Seidler is going to check into this game. Fan favorite senior. We thought maybe that game at Pauley Pavilion against Nebraska would be his last, time playing for the Bruins. It was the senior night, but it looks like they'll get him some time here as he stands on that line, ready to box out for the free throw.
Yep. 5th game played this season, or sorry, 6th, played in 5 coming into this one.
Second free throw is good for Williams II.
As soon as Seidler gets into the game, you know what the mission is. Get him a bucket. We'll see if the Bruins can do it with 43 seconds left.
Seidler has played in 5 games up to this point now. In his 6th, has 2 total points. Only made 1 bucket. Now ball in his hands. What will Jack Seidler do late in this one? 89-68. Gonna pass it back to Perry. Perry gives it right back to Jack Seidler. Seidler crossing over, trying to get inside, loses the ball. Now coming down the other way is Arenas, but Seidler looks like he's gonna draw a foul. Whistles as Seidler hits the deck. And the Bruin fans love it. Jack Seidler waving his arms in the air, telling the Bruin fans here on the road to get hyped. 89-68. Justin, what do you make of what just unfolded?
Well, we just saw Trent Perry go over to the USC huddle, get in their faces, shouting something in their direction.
And now chants not in favor of SC here on the road, as many USC fans have sort of trickled out over the last couple of minutes. Still a sea of blue sits behind the UCLA bench.
Well, they're going to continue to review this for a flagrant foul, but some bad blood surfacing here late on in this rivalry, the dying seconds, as the Bruins have put this one away, really been shifted into neutral for most of this second half. UCLA having one of their most prolific offensive games of the season tonight. 57.6% from the field, 52.9% from beyond the arc, 9 of 17 in that range. And most shockingly, out-rebounding the Trojans by 10, picking up 11 offensive boards. It has been that kind of night for the Bruins where they've dominated in places where they usually do, like, for example, only turning the ball over 6 times, but also getting some areas of production that they don't usually maximize.
Bruins out ahead by 21 points as we get set for officials to tell us what they saw in that play. The leading scorer for USC has been Arenas. He has 20 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. What do you make of his performance tonight here in his last regular season game of his freshman campaign?
Well, as it has been for him this season, it's all about that shot creation, especially without Chad Baker-Mazara, and he's been able to make a few more shots from the field than he usually does, 7 of 17 in this game.
Double flagrant fouls called on the play.
Well, that's not something you see too often, but certainly an effort by the referees here to quell any tensions that may be arising as this game comes to an end.
Kofi's gonna come in the game now. Out comes Asar. He'll lead to some applause from the home crowd, but many of the home crowd is already left trying to beat that terrible LA traffic. 20 seconds on the clock now. Getting to the basket is Arenas, trying to add to his 20-point total, but can't come up with it. Rebound, Anthony Peoples Jr. getting in the game for some late minutes here. And now the ball in the hands of Jack Seidler. Now to Trent Perry. Gonna run out this clock now, and UCLA picks up their second victory over USC this season. The 267th meeting of these teams results in a UCLA victory. UCLA now leads the all-time matchup 151-116. Justin, what did you see in this match tonight that you liked from the Bruins?
Well, pretty much everything. Competing on the boards, not turning the ball over, good perimeter defense to limit the open threes for USC, and just overall an extremely solid game for UCLA. A lot of the time you can't control the shots falling, but tonight they were. 34 or 59 from the field for the Bruins, and at the same time they played well in every other aspect. That's how you end up with a dominant victory like this.
So that'll put an end to the regular season for both of these teams. UCLA will finish things out 21-10, 13-7 in Big Ten play as we look ahead to the Big Ten tournament. Justin, anything you want to add before we close things out?
Well, the Bruins are set for a really nice run there, I have to say. they can improve their seeding for March, already looking like an 8 or 9 seed after that win against Nebraska. And we'll see if they can rack up any more Quadrant 1 victories as they come into the tournament on fire, winning 4 of their last 5.
Well, that'll do it for the last crosstown rivalry here in this 2025-2026 season. Your final score, 89-68, as the Bruins take the series 2-0 on the year. Thank you for joining UCLA Student Radio. My name is David Matamoroz, joined by Justin Attlesey.